afraid to say it. You're afraid to come back and say that I was a victim. I was hurt. I had something that happened there that I don't want you to tell because it's something maybe embarrassing or not good, but I know a lot more than I can let on right now.
In January of 2019, a Florida family's once loving home became the scene of a mass murder.
Why do you think we're having this conversation?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point because
that happened at the house based on my knowledge right now, and you're afraid to say it. You're afraid to.
I honestly don't have anything else that I can really say.
An entire household gunned down except for a lone survivor who was hiding all the answers the detectives needed.
Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother?
Once a nurse and graduate student, 29-year-old Grant Amato's future was full of possibilities. But behind closed doors, his obsession with an online fantasy was poisoning his mind and spiraling far beyond his control.
If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family?
What does it take for someone to commit the ultimate betrayal against the people who loved them most? And can detectives find the answer before the killer slips away?
Did your father go after you and you try to protect yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
On December 20th, 2018, Officer Neil Stewart responded to the residence at 2112 Sultan Circle in Chilliwack, Florida, and was greeted by 61-year-old Margaret Amato and her son, 31-year-old Cody, who stated that their son and brother, 29-year-old Grant Amato, was missing. More importantly, they expressed that he was unstable, possibly armed, and a danger to himself. They explained that after losing his job as a nurse and flunking graduate nursing school 6 months prior, Grant's only ambitions had spiraled down the drain, and he'd reportedly fallen into an intense depression, complete with mood swings, tantrums, and repeated threats of self-harm. His family tried for months to help him get back on his feet, and when all else failed, they sent to stay with aunt in Apopka, with the hopes that the change of scenery would be good for him. He moved back in with his family in December, and just days later, he vanished. According to Margaret, Grant had left the house in one of their cars the day before, and later that afternoon, the two had a text conversation where Grant expressed that he was really tired of dealing with everything and that he was just going to handle things his way. Eventually, Grant stopped answering his phone altogether, and Margaret hadn't heard from him in the past 24 hours. Officer Stewart documented Grant as a missing person and sent out a bolo alert for his car. And the very next day, on December 21st, an officer in the neighboring city of Apopka contacted Officer Stewart, advising that he'd located Grant at his grandmother's house and that he appeared to be fine. Upon speaking with Grant, he explained that he just needed a break from his mom and didn't plan on harming himself. With no proof that he needed to be detained for a psychiatric evaluation, the officer left and Grant was removed from the missing persons list. What the officers didn't know was that Grant was dealing with a serious problem, and fixation that had taken over his life, ruined his relationship with his family, and driven him mentally insane. And they wouldn't find out until a month later, on January 25th, 2019, when officers were requested to the Amato residence again. Dispatch had received a call around 9 a.m. from nurses at Advent Hospital, East Orlando. But this time it wasn't about Grant. It was about his brother Cody not showing up for work that morning. Cody, who was also a nurse, was very dedicated to his job and had never before missed a day at the hospital, especially without calling. So when he failed to arrive hours after his shift started, concerned co-workers called the police to request a welfare check. Officers arrived at the residence, and as they approached the front door, they noted that Cody's green Honda was sitting in the driveway behind two other cars that were parked in the garage, indicating that the family should have been home. However, when they knocked and knocked again, no one answered the door. Officers began walking around the outside of the house, towards the backyard, peeking into windows and listening carefully for any signs of life. But the interior of the house was still and quiet. They found a back door and attempted to gain entry, but it was locked. Back at the front of the house, officers used bullhorns to loudly announce themselves as the police and demand the Amatos out of the home. But still, there was no movement inside. At this point, police began to fear the worst, as they were familiar with the family from previous interactions and aware of Grant's violent tendencies and emotional instability. Given the proof that they were home, but not answering the door, and the fact that there was a mentally disturbed person living at the home, police decided that they had probable cause based on exigent circumstance to force their way inside. They returned to the backyard where one officer produced a knife and attempted to pry the flimsy door open. After a few minutes, they heard a click as the officer was able to slide the deadbolt, and they kept their weapons trained on the entrance as he cautiously swung the door open. They found no immediate dangers, so they made their way in to locate Cody and his family, and that's when they discovered discovered 59-year-old Chad Amato laying on the kitchen floor with 2 gunshot wounds to the back of the head. Margaret was slumped over her work desk inside the home's office, also with a gunshot wound to the back of the head. Cody was found curled up on the ground inside of a storage closet with a fatal gunshot wound to the face. A 9mm handgun was recovered from the ground next to him. Upon further inspection, there were no signs of forced entry and no items were missing from the home. The only one missing was Grant. Within the hour, a BOLO alert was posted for Grant and his white 1996 Honda Accord. Officers spent the rest of the day scanning the city for any signs of him, but came up empty-handed. And it wasn't until the following afternoon that police found out why. Because Grant wasn't in Chilota. He'd fled south from Seminole County to Orange County and shacked up in a DoubleTree hotel, where he was found and arrested the following afternoon after his vehicle was recognized in the parking lot. Needless to say, he was immediately transported to the Orange County Sheriff's Office and placed in an interrogation room to explain exactly where he'd been for the past 24 hours.
Full name?
My full name is Grant Tiernan Amato.
Your date of birth?
May 20th, 1989.
Okay. Education?
I have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from UCF back in 2011. And that's my highest level.
Okay. What is there any special nursing degree, what you do, or?
I mean, I have like other certifications, but I mean, with that, like, I primarily worked in the hospital for, I think, 5 or 6 years. And then I was pursuing a Master's of Science in Nurse Anesthesia. That was back in 2015, I believe.
Okay.
But then I didn't complete that, and then I just went back to nursing. And then when this whole, like, wrongful accusation of the grand theft charge that I told you about in the car, when that happened, I stopped working at the hospital, and then that took like.
I don't think we talked about that in the car.
Well, I was accused of grand theft of the 3rd degree back in June of 2018.
During the aforementioned incident, the police were called to Advent Health Orlando in response to a nurse who was threatening to end his life. The subject of the call was Grant, and upon investigating the matter, the officers concluded that they couldn't detain him for an involuntary mental examination because he didn't meet the necessary criteria. But they did place him under arrest when they learned that the hospital suspected that Grant was stealing drugs. Allegedly, staff had found 8 empty vials of propofol, a strong sedative, inside rooms that Grant had previously attended. When asked what they were for, Grant reportedly stated that they were for patients who were not adequately relaxed by doctor-ordered medication. He was charged with grand theft and simultaneously fired from the hospital, though the charge was later dropped.
That went on for 6 months, and during that time I obviously wasn't allowed to work because of it. So when that happened, obviously I was dismissed from that job, and then I couldn't get another job because now you have an outstanding felony. All the charges were dropped, and now I'm just in the process of expunging that from my records. But because I can't keep just not working forever. And that was kind of a topic around the house was I need to get started here. And then I've been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I'd gotten 3 or 4 callbacks, and then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
Where was that at?
That was with Credo, and then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:45.
How'd that go?
I mean, it was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because I mean, it's a crappy world when you don't have any money, you can't do anything. So
financially, how's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows a lot more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
I mean, if you work your standard 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So I mean, it's not bad. Obviously, if you work overtime, like some of the nurses who have also been nurses for a long time, I mean, they can make 6 figures if you work 5.
What was your best year?
I think my best year I made like $55,000.
55.
Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone at that time.
Just to pay the bills to get you where you gotta. Gotcha. And what you were going for, what does that pay? Nurse
anesthesia pays, I mean, base like about 150 up to 175. You work a lot of overtime. You can cusp 200, but then Girlfriends. I had, like, my high school sweetheart girlfriend. for about 5 years. And then ever since then, no like official girlfriends, no flings or anything like that.
Dates here and there.
Dates occasionally, but I mean not really. Kind of focused on like just getting through the life goals that I wanted to achieve. Even when it all went down on the day where I was accused of that felony, the cops came in and then they handcuffed me and they were like, you've been charged with this. We're taking you down to the I think it was Orange County, the Orange County jail area. I had to have the picture taken and stay in the sitting area where they process you all and everything like that. And I'm using the phones on the cord, trying to just pass around the phone, and I'm surrounded by all these guys who are talking about,
who are real criminals.
Yeah.
Who are real
and
criminals.
The first person I call is my dad. My brother. And
What is your brother's name? You keep
Cody.
my brother.
Cody,
okay.
sorry. First person I call is him, and he was at work at the time, but he answered his phone, and I was just like, look, I'm freaking out. I've been charged with this. I've been told that my bond is this, and then I guess he tells, whoever was working that day with him, I gotta go. So then he calls my mom, he calls my dad, he smooths things over as best as he can. He's just basically saying, I'm going to pay this. And then I think I was there for like 7 hours or something, even though it was paid within like the first hour.
Right. It just takes a little time to get all the paperwork and the booking in and then the bond process to go through.
Right. Right.
So that's dismissed. You're out looking for jobs, applying pretty regular?
Yeah, I'd say pretty regular.
Anything left in savings?
Nothing left in savings. I think I had like $300-400. But
brother kind of helping you through?
Yeah. Brother was helping me. My dad was covering the rent that he calls it, which is just like the monthly payment for us to help since we all live at home.
What was that? What did you have to pay for that?
$600
each?
A month. Yeah. And then
it's not a bad deal, is it?
No. And then he was covering like cell phone. We were paying for our own internet.
I imagine for that gaming on stuff, you gotta have better than basic internet, didn't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, out where we live, it's like our street, like the street coming down, I think at Fort Christmas before you turn in, like that's the dividing line. Everything before you turn into Fort Christmas, all the nice big fancy houses that are on that side, they all have Spectrum and the gigabyte connection. They have everything available to them. But then right when you come down here, where I guess the older neighborhoods are, they haven't branched out everything. So I think it was just AT&T that was providing service. And we have the highest one, but it's still like, I think it was 50 megabytes download and like 10 megabytes upload. So it's not that great, but it was good.
So basically all your computer systems were underworked for what their capabilities.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. Me and Cody.
Who's older, you or him?
He is. I'm the youngest one. I'm 29, he's 31. Okay. My oldest brother Jason is 35 or 36 now.
Who lives at home? All three boys live at home?
No. It's just me and Cody, and then mom and dad.
Okay. Tell me about Cody.
Cody. Let's see. Me and Cody had the quintessential rough, like fighting each other and whatnot when we were younger.
The love-hate, typical siblings.
But then I would say like my junior year of high school, we were all on the weightlifting team together. That's where I got to know a lot of like his guy friends. And we stopped like arguing at that point. And then we all, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. We did everything together.
Who was the better student?
He was the better student in everything up through nursing school, and then I was actually the better student in nurse anesthesia school. But there was like again, kind of like what.
Are you guys at the same time in the same classes?
Yeah.
So you're the
exact same. But not for nursing school. Not for nursing.
No, I mean for the anesthesiology.
Yeah, we sat right next to each other.
So you're in there doing things together. So you got somebody to study with.
Yeah.
Somebody to bounce things off of and work with.
Yeah, and we would do that all the time. We were burning the midnight oil.
But you were better at it.
Yeah, and that was the one time that he actually admitted that I was didactically more competent than him in that field. And then
who's better in weightlifting?
He was.
Okay.
He broke a number of school records. I think he was like the 129 weight class. I was the 119 weight class. But he was definitely stronger in high school. And then, but yeah, we were close. I mean, like bonded, you know. I don't really know how else to really say it. It was, a lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close, but yeah, I mean...
Yeah, a lot of people understand the bond of brothers, though.
Yeah.
The true bond if you're close with your brother.
And I mean, during like this whole time, I mean, kind of like with just a few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for
Always
me.
there for you.
Yeah.
Always there to support you.
Always there.
Fight with you 1 minute, but make sure that you were not stuck in jail for some silly charge
right.
the next.
And, yeah, I mean, he's always been there for me, so. With my oldest brother, Jason, not so much, just because he was adopted to begin with, and then...
He was adopted by who?
My dad. He was my mom's son.
Was your mom married before your dad?
No.
Just had it.
Just had it, right.
Okay.
And then he was heavily restricted when we were younger, for lying and stuff like that to our dad. So basically, he would he would go to school and then he'd come home, he'd have to stay in his room. There's like no TV or anything like that, especially 15 years ago or something like that. But he'd come down for dinner and then he'd go back up and he'd do his work. On the weekends and whatnot, he would like go out and pick weeds and like do that stuff and then come in and then do the same thing. So unfortunately, me and Cody never really got to interact with Jason, the oldest brother, a whole lot. But I mean, Jason's been, like, I think he's one of the most genuine people that you'd ever meet.
Cody's definitely one you're way closer with.
Yeah, hands down.
Ever any issues really with him?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it had been a very trying time. Financially, trying to get the job thing going, worrying about this whole what's going to happen with this legal stuff. But like even through it all, I mean, he would like have his moments where he would get extremely upset. He never gets violent, I guess you could say. But like at one point he got so upset that he like pushed a cabinet and then it like dented into the wall. So he'll like lose his temper, kind of like my dad, but yeah, I mean, at least with me, he's always been like where he's there for me. Like whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm gonna take care of it for you. And I mean, over like the last 6 months, I mean, it's been sad for me because like I see everything that like he's doing and like I can't be like how I've always been with him, where I'm helping out too, or I can do something for you.
Right.
Where we're kind of on the same playing field. I know that you make more money than me and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, we can do the stuff together. You don't have to pay for my dinner. When we go out with the guys, you don't have to pay for the trip. It's just, I couldn't help relieve his stress, I guess, as well as I always used to. And
it's also the camaraderie there that you got your brother to go do stuff with. Right.
But then, I mean, I know for me, I had been bummed out just because, like, I've been out of work. My whole life it's been school, work, school, back to work, and then just, I mean, that's it. Sacrifice all my 20s. I never went tailgating or anything like that.
Do you have any issues with depression over all the legal issues and beyond?
I would say that I was depressed, but I'd always put on the happy face for like my brother and
how would you deal with the depression?
I talk to God. I try and just rationalize it in my head that I haven't heard anything from this attorney in 5 months, 6 months. I mean, you'd think that if it was something so severe that you would have heard about it by now. So I was just trying to rationalize to myself that hopefully this can all get taken care of, and then I can get back.
Grant is misleading the officers by putting emphasis on how close he and his brother were and pretending that he was better at handling his depression than he actually was. Though he did mention how hard the last 6 months had been on both of them, he drastically minimized just how torturous it had actually been, specifically for Cody and his parents who sacrificed money, time, and resources as a result of Grant's erratic mood swings and reckless actions. But his behavior wasn't the only problem. There was something that Grant wasn't telling the officers, and this little secret was the reason why Grant and Cody were no longer on speaking terms when he died.
Yeah.
Taking any medication for the depression?
No, never. I never took any
Or even self-medicate?
No, I never took any like antidepressants or anything like that. I think the only thing, just because like sleeping was kind of off and on at a time, I would take like Benadryl just to like help me go to sleep back at home, and then when I think the only other thing is like sleep aid, which is again, it's just diphenhydramine. You know, secondary side effect is just drowsiness. It's not like its actual purpose. And then melatonin, just to help with the sleep cycle. Because I worked nights all the time, so I was always a night owl, always awake. And then now it's like
Trying to get back into
because yeah, I'd be going to days. But that's the only thing I ever took. And then Advil, ibuprofen for like headaches. But no antidepressants, no medical history, none of that type of stuff.
So living at home is who?
Me, Cody, Dad, and Mom.
Tell me about your mom.
My mom has, she's always been it's kind of like Cody, she's always been the one that focused on me. And she worked at home.
What'd she do?
She was, God, I do not, like something manager, like a client manager for Nuance Transcription Company.
Where was her office at?
You come down the staircase and then it's right to the right. So it's like, it's got like a potted plant in there. It's got like a bay window, or like 3 windows.
No, when I say office,
at home?
She worked at home?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said she worked at...
Oh no, she works for Nuance
Oh,
Transcription,
okay.
but she works from home.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's like where like all of our internet and crap is against like the wall. And
like a home office?
Yeah,
you work out?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like originally a dining room, but then it was transitioned into like her office. And
Fights and fusses with mom, or
no, I mean...
Were you the baby? You were truly the family baby?
For my mom.
Yeah. Okay.
For my mom.
Mom's favorite?
Yeah, and I mean, I had been being told that, because, again, it's like this last 6 or 7 months was just, like, stressful for everybody.
Sure.
And, you know, countless times my dad would, like, come up to me, and he'd make, like, me feel, like, he'd try and use things and word things to make me feel guilty so that I would, you know, do everything that I can, like get a job.
Almost like a motivation.
Right. And he'd tell me time and time again that, you know, you're her favorite. I mean, she would do anything for you. And, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't need to hear that. I mean, that's not what would motivate me.
Sure.
But no, with Mom, I think we yelled at each other a grand total of like 3 or 4 times my whole life. I've never, like, yelled at her for anything, because, I mean, she's never done anything wrong. She's always been the one who's
stood by you? Stood
by me, but tried to, you know, even during our early childhood when it was really rough with our dad.
Why is that?
My dad's a Leo type A, Italian personality man. He's very focused on his future. He's very focused on everything that he's sacrificed in his life for the betterment of all of us. You know, like he's always dreamed of going hiking up in the mountains. They have a property up in Tennessee that they built. And
you been there?
Me and Cody and Jason have never been up to that house, just because
Mom and Dad hide that from you? That's our secret hideaway?
A little bit.
No kids allowed?
A little bit, but, I mean,
Have you seen the pictures of it?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of place is it?
It's nice. It's like, I think my dad has emphasized that it's about half the size of the house out in Juliota, where we all grew up. But it's, I mean, super modern. It's got, like, the brick layout on the whole thing. It's on, like, 4 or 6 acres or something like that. And then off like the back end of their property, they would send us pictures where it's got like the guardrail, but it overlooks like a valley. So that property had actually been causing my dad a lot of stress because I think it's been built for like 5 or 6 years. He only goes up there once every month, once every couple months, just to do maintenance, not to like enjoy it. And then every like other month, him and my mom would go up there for like a week. But again, it's like my mom would always just be like, you know, I'm working every day. Like, we're doing stuff in the yard, we're clearing this, clearing that.
Didn't get to enjoy that.
Right. And then my dad, apparently there was like this hog issue up there that it's been destroying his lawn, you know, everything that they're maintaining. So, you know, he was like stressing about all the money that's costing him, and, yeah, so like, yeah, I guess back to your original statement with my mom, Never any issues. I mean, it was always, like, if there was somebody that I could talk to and, like, Cody wasn't available, I'd always talk to my mom. I'd always let her know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything.
Okay. Tell me about Dad.
Dad,
What does he do?
Dad's a pharmacist.
Okay.
He works for CVS. He's been a pharmacist for, I think, 35 years or so.
Dad make good money?
I think he would tell me that he makes like between $110,000 and $120,000 a year.
Not bad money.
So yeah, it's not bad.
Well, I'm sure him and Mom are both happy to see, you know, that both of you going to that program
Right.
can make more. You always want your child to do better than you.
Right, and I mean, you know, that was what my dad always emphasized. When we were younger, going through grade school, then high school and college, we were heavily restricted, but we were allowed to do some things. Like, it wasn't like Jason's situation where he was just like the door's locked, you know, you're staying in there type thing.
And who was that? Who was keeping? Who was the disciplinarian in the family?
My dad.
And was he the one that decided Jason stays
Yes.
locked in?
Yeah.
What did Mom think about that?
Mom didn't approve of it, obviously, but back in that time, my dad was a very, like, angry, violent type person.
Overbearing?
Overbearing. You know, he would like push my mom, and like one instance, you know, it was getting to that age where me and Cody were kind of getting old enough to maybe be able to do something if she needed our help. And I remember her and my dad were like in their room, which if you go down the stairs, it's right there to the left. We heard our mom yell that he's hurting me, and then me and Cody run downstairs and we go into the room, and then we're trying to get our dad off of our mom, and then my dad elbows back, and that's why my nose has got its little like bridge right there. But I mean, that's like how he was, like spankings with a 2x4, you know, like baseball practice, it'd be like 4 or 5 hours, and he's hurling the ball as fast as an adult can, and we're like 7th to 8th grade trying to catch this stuff. Yeah, I mean, definitely very overbearing, but he would always rationalize that he's just trying to like secure our future.
Violent towards the family?
Violent towards my mom and towards me, never to and towards Jason, but never to Cody.
Why?
I mean,
Cody his favorite?
Yeah. I mean,
3 boys?
Yeah. And with that, I mean, I could kind of see it, but Cody also never really made any mistakes. He did a few things wrong. He lied a few times. You know, he cost my dad some money a few times, but he was never like a repeat offender, I guess you could say, whereas me and Jason, you know, we had that difficulty where it's like, okay, we got a C or we got a D on something, and I just don't want to tell Dad about it.
Sure.
But then he would find out, and then, you know.
Dad ever abuse you?
When we were younger.
How so?
Spankings with like a 2x4, and then, you know, he'd use like, I mean, it was like a 2x4 that was fashioned into a paddle called the lightning rod, I think is what it was called. No, he broke it on me.
I'd be sorry. I would probably say it was my dad, take it out and burn it.
Yeah.
So he didn't have it anymore.
But yeah, he would you know, he'd do that, and then he'd push you around. Like he wouldn't punch you. He wouldn't bruise you.
Slap you?
He never slapped me, but I guess I should say the only place that I ever got bruised was on my butt from being spanked.
Belittle you?
He would belittle me when I was younger, but again.
How long since you've been out of work?
No, I mean, not really. He would just make me feel bad that, like, he would make me feel bad that Cody's doing all this stuff to, like,
And you're not.
and I'm not. Like, I'm not contributing.
You're not as valuable, maybe.
Right.
Maybe that's not the right word, but you're not, like I said, contributing enough to what needs to be done.
Right, and then.
But nobody knows better than you that you want to be out there.
Right.
You want to have your
And I mean, the problem, I guess, was that I was always like the jokester, the one that could calm everybody down, make everybody smile. If it was a heated situation, I could say a joke or something and then make everybody kind of move past it. And I was just in the point where it's like, you know, I'm hearing, you know, all this stuff from Dad. I'm seeing how much Cody's helping me. You know, Mom's stressed out with her job. And it's like, I'm not doing anything. And it's like I'm in that situation where it's like I'm not doing something because I don't want to. I'm held out because I'm waiting for this whole legal thing to get taken care of, and then for jobs.
When was the last time your dad put his hands on you?
The last time my dad put his hands on me would be, I'd say, kind of the middle of December of 2018.
What happened?
It's because, you know, with all the money that had been getting spent and I guess just the mix of everything that I've been saying just kind of boiling up in him, and the fact that I was, to him, it seemed like I wasn't concerned about it. So, and then plus I was, you know, I wasn't acting like myself with the jovialness and, you know, all that kind of stuff. My father chose to admit me to like a depression or an addiction clinic or something like that in Fort Lauderdale called Cornerstone.
When was that?
That was December 22nd.
Okay.
Until I think January 4th.
Did you agree to go?
I didn't, but they said that, you know, this was your only...
Who said?
My dad.
Okay.
And that was in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, yeah.
Did your mom agree with it?
My mom and my brother both agreed, but it was my dad who was like the iron fist, like, this is what's going to happen. Like,
Again, Grant is telling the truth, but he's not telling the whole truth. He was indeed sent to rehab a month prior, but it had nothing to do with his depression. He was sent to a facility for sex and pornography addiction in Fort Lauderdale. The 60-day program cost his family $15,000, but he dropped out after only 2 weeks. And we're about to find out why.
Why did he say you needed to go? What was his reasoning?
Because with the way that I was acting, he didn't see that I was doing anything for like the positive. You know, and a lot of it just came back to money with him. He would like allow me to spend money that he had like with his credit card or something like that, but it's like then whenever I did, it was like a huge problem.
Okay, so you had one of his credit cards.
Yeah.
And what were you buying with it?
Well, what I was doing is over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's as embarrassing as it is. She's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do either of you guys know what that?
Nope. Just like all the videos, you have to tell us.
A cam model, it's like it's like a virtual girlfriend, I guess you could say. Okay. Like that type of situation. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay. Where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
Where?
Bulgaria.
Where's that?
Over in Europe. It's like outside of Germany.
Okay.
Something like that.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that serious.
Okay.
So what would you give her money for?
Just for like the time online with her.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just like that type of thing.
And what did she charge? By the minute? By the hour?
Minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is it per minute?
Oh God, I think it was like 90 tokens a minute, and it's like the conversion rate for all of that is like $600 for like 5,000 or something tokens or something like that. So, and then it was 4 hours a night. So I mean that's basically just where all the costs went to, was you pay real money for the tokens, then you use the company's digital currency for that.
So you do that, and when did you meet her?
I met her at the beginning of July. Yeah, at the very beginning of July. Okay,
and still talking to her?
Still, yeah. I mean, more just on like Twitter, like just through direct messaging. Again, cell phone service doesn't work, so it's like I can't use the chatting like that.
How much do you think you spent on this? Because it seems kind of pricey.
Yeah.
90 tokens and $5,000 for how many tokens?
No, it's $600 for 5,000.
For 5,000,
yeah.
Okay.
Sylvie Venceslavova is a Bulgarian cam girl that Grant met on myfreecams.com shortly after losing his nursing job during his very short trial at being a Twitch streamer. He immediately fell in love with her and would spend up to 4 hours a night on the website watching only Slivy and sending her anywhere from $500 to thousands of dollars for her private shows. In the end, he'd sent her a total of $210,000, and he justified the amount of money he was spending by convincing her that he was a popular Twitch Twitch streamer, but in truth, he was lying and stealing his family's bank cards for the cash.
So how much do you think you spent on this?
Probably close to like $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
Did they know where the money was going to?
They didn't know that it was going to a cam model. I was saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, like advertising, like putting my name out there and that type of thing.
But based on what you're telling me, only so many people make so much money. So I think just a few in the country make a bunch of money.
Right.
So that was like the ultimate goal is to get to that.
I was hoping that the stars would align, and then I would be like one of those people, because I was good at the games, and I'm a funny, pleasant person on the camera and that type of thing. So, yeah, I mean that's. So I guess to like bring it all back with why I was brought to Cornerstone, it was a mix of all of those things. It's like he felt like, he felt like
You need to be grounded.
Yeah. And so then I was there, I spoke to like the therapist and psychiatrist and all that stuff. I didn't need any medications for anything. They had analyzed it as, this is an isolated event. You've been out of work, you have this PTSD from the whole getting arrested thing, and I mean the last thing on my record was I think a speeding ticket back when I was at UCF, and then just having all of that stuff going on, but then they had signed me up I think to be there for 60 days, but then I was only there until January 4th. So
who paid for that?
My brother, Cody.
What was the cost of that?
$15,000. It was $15,000. And then I think when I had gotten back, we were going through the process of calling them and seeing if we could get any type of refund. And I think they said that he was going to get refunded $3,000 from his $15,000.
Sure.
But I don't.
There so long.
Right. But I don't know if that transaction had ever gone through yet.
So their final diagnosis of you was what?
That I was fine. That
didn't need to be there.
Yeah. That I was fine. I told them all about like my living situation and how it had been stressful, and then it got better, and then now it's just stressful again. But they had all just said that it was just this isolated event.
Situational PTSD from
right. Yeah, like once
the last 6 months.
Once you can get this legal thing taken care of, which I don't know if I mentioned, but when we looked online and we saw that all the charges had been dropped, that was on like November 30th or 31st, the day before we were going to Japan. So, while that was good and everything, I still knew that it was still going to be like on your record until you get it expunged. So, I was still thinking, okay, at least now I can maybe start applying when we get back from Japan. My mom and dad were, dealing with a lot of the financial stuff while we were up there. And then when I got back, that's where my dad started to get really kind of overbearing. And I mean, rightfully so. I know what I did. But it's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day, hours a day. He'd come home from work, and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again. And
did he get heated?
He would get heated, but
how much did you get heated?
No, I mean I was, I was always the person in the family where like my brother Cody would interrupt my dad when he was talking. My mom would interject and say you can't be saying that or whatever. But for me, I would just sit there and I would just let my dad talk so that he could say everything that he wanted to say. And then if I saw that it was something that he wanted me to respond to, then I'd respond. But I would never be heated to him, especially if I felt like I was in the wrong.
Right. To all that you think you were in the wrong?
I mean, yeah.
To some extent?
To some extent, spending that amount of money, it's idiotic to do that, especially when you're not making it.
So $200,000.
Right.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, a heated conversation?
It would be Thursday, because one of his rules was that I wasn't allowed to talk to the woman anymore that I had been talking to. But I guess you could say behind the scenes, my mom would let me talk to her through her cell phone using Twitter. And, she would tell me, like, look, you have to keep it just basic, because if you say anything or if you entice anything or do anything like that, it might lead her to say something to like my dad or something like that, because
How would she get in touch with him?
Because apparently when I was in Cornerstone, my dad told her, because he had like hacked my computer or something like that, and then he found everything.
Electronics guy like you and your brother?
Except he's more of that like hacking level, like able to do all that stuff. So he had found, you know, like just the stuff that was related to her, and then, you know, he erased my whole entire computer. He put a password on it, so it's like even when I came back up until Thursday, like I wasn't able to go onto my own computer to look at anything.
Basically, he's treating you like a small child.
Right, and rightfully so. I mean, spending that amount of money, I was acting childish. I can kind of get it, but so yeah. Anyways, on Thursday, he had apparently found out that I was speaking to her again, and when I came back on the 4th. My mom picked me up from the Cornerstone place, and then me and my mom met my dad at California Pizza Grill or Kitchen in Waterford Lakes. And he had this list front and back on a piece of paper of all the rules. This is what's going to happen. This is why I'm acting the way that I'm going to act. I'm not going to be Dad anymore. I'm going to be Chad. And I basically told him that I'm going to be present. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to start to try and get jobs now. I told him what my plan was. You know, it wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened.
Jason, the Amato's oldest son, later testified to finding the 2-page contract with rules that Grant had to follow if he wanted to continue living in their home. The conditions included no internet usage after midnight, finding a job, 0 contact with Sylvie, and an apology to his family for the $150,000 he'd stolen from his father, which included $65,000 loan for their home and the $60,000 he'd stolen from Cody, in addition to a few of his guns that he pawned for money.
And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like I like, you know, it felt like a relationship, you know. I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it. So he had apparently found out, and then
Unhappy.
Right, and one of the stipulations was that he told me at the dinner was, if you speak to this woman again, you're out of the house. Like, I'm kicking you out. You can pack up your shit, and then you're off my property. And then, because of the way that he used to be, he had told me that basically if that happens, that if I ever step back onto his property, that he would kill me. So, you know, on Thursday, that all happened, and then I was in the process. I was getting all my stuff together. I was piecemealing it out to the car, and then, you know, I had interview on Friday, so I had to get my suit out to my car. I was trying to just get all of my necessities as best as I could from, you know, a lifetime of living inside the house. And then my brother was working that night, and I think he was working like one of his long nights, but he ended up getting off early. And then I had met with my brother before he came home, just like in the neighborhood area, and then it was just on the like the back side of the house, like along, I don't remember what that road's called, but it's like you take the bend where it has those 2 blinking lights, and then it's just down that road a ways.
Not for Christmas.
Is it before Christmas when you still turn the corner?
I think so. I'm not
Maybe.
sure. I think so.
Well, it was just down that road. And then I basically brought him up to speed, and he had told me that he was going to do whatever.
What time was that, you think?
God, what time was that?
What time did you go to, let me back up a second, I apologize. You, Mom, and Dad go to California Pizza Kitchen in Waterford at what time?
Oh, that was all the way back on January 4th.
Oh, you said Thursday.
Oh, that wasn't Thursday.
No.
Okay.
That was when I had come back from Cornerstone.
Gotcha.
He was giving me the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Then do Thursday then. We'll
what
start
happened?
with that.
That Thursday that you meet with Cody down the street, this is this past Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that.
After you and your dad argue.
After me and my dad had argued, and he had told me, you know, this is how it's going to be, and, you know, all that stuff.
Okay. This is at the house this past Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is what now? Saturday? So,
yeah.
Past Thursday, I guess you could still say. So, then, yeah, I spoke with Cody. He told me about all that. He had given me his debit so that because I mean, I don't have any money and I don't know where to go. You know, I'd never been out of the house on my own. And then the last thing that I was told was just that, you know, basically once again that he'll take care of it because
This is Cody.
This is Cody.
What time is this, approximately?
I'd say a little after 10:30ish at night.
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so then after that, I just like stayed in that in the vicinity area for a number of hours, and then I had remembered over some of the nights when I would work overnight, but then I'd be able to get off early, that the Publix on 50 on Colonial, the one that's by the Tractor Supply.
419. Yeah.
Yeah. That Publix, it's like their guest Wi-Fi is always still active even when the store closes down. So I was like, okay, well I'm gonna go there because I have my Surface. And I can, you know, check on my emails. I had to pull up the address to my interview because I don't have GPS. So then I would like write all that stuff down, and then I was basically just waiting in that parking lot until I had to leave to go to the interview. And then I mean that was the last, because again it's like no cell phone service. I mean email was literally like my only form of communication. And then, you know, yeah, I didn't have any, you know, I went to the DoubleTree because I was like, I can't just stay in my car again all night.
Right. And how did you pay for that?
I paid for it with my debit card.
With your debit card?
Yeah. Because I think there was like the $400 or $300 and something still left on it.
Okay.
What time did you get there?
The DoubleTree? I think I got there at around 3 or 4 p.m. Friday. And then yeah, and then I was just, I mean, I would like go up to my car so I get like a bottle of water or something like that, or if I had forgotten something, you know, just like necessity wise. And then I was just there the whole night.
Talk to Cody, talk to Mom, talk to
No, I couldn't talk to anybody because I didn't have.
But you had the phone in the room.
Oh yeah, I did have the phone in the room. But
yeah, anybody from the phone room?
No, I didn't even honestly think about it because I was like, you know, away from a place where I had lived for 25 years or something like that. I had never, you know, as embarrassing as it is, I'd never been on my own.
Right.
The longest period I'd ever been away from anybody is 2 weeks when we were up in Japan. So, I mean, yeah.
But you had your brother with you, so.
Right,
so,
yeah.
So you had family with you.
But, yeah, I mean, so, I guess I was waiting to see what would happen with this job because I was told I'd either be told Tuesday or Thursday. And then maybe I would try an outreach or something like that. Or the last time, you know, when it was like an issue where I didn't have my phone, like my brother would email me. So I was just thinking, oh, okay, well, I mean, if anything, he knows the situation, he'll just email me. So I checked my email a few times last night, and then I just inevitably was able to go to sleep.
Was it Thursday night that your dad told you that if you talked to the girl that he would kick you out, or was that the conversation on the 4th at California?
That was on the 4th. And then he just went through with it on Thursday.
Okay.
So Thursday, you're home all day?
Yes.
With your mom? Because she works at home?
Correct, yes.
Your dad's at work? What's his normal work hours?
He works until, I think he had to go in early that day, because he had to start like doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works though from like 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between like 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that day?
He got home at like 5:30.
5:30?
5:30, 5:45, one of those two.
Okay. Were you there when he came in?
Yes.
Okay, well, describe your dad normal come in.
When my dad normally comes in, he'll come in, he'll look into the living room, which is, like, there's the kitchen, and then there's the living room where it's got, like, the long couch and whatnot that's inside, and then there's the TV right there. Okay. So he'll normally come in through there, and then he'll talk, or he'll ask us questions, or he'll...
Where were you at when he came in?
I was just in there. I was just watching...
in the virtual reality where you said you had that set up?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just watching...
And that's in what room?
The living room.
The living room.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just watching YouTube at that time, just like...
Did Dad talk to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where, because he had I don't know how he found out, but he had apparently found out, and then...
Found out what?
That I was talking to...
You were still talking
to the woman, yeah. And then he came in, and then he asked me, in a calmer state, I guess you could say, like, basically the leading question of, you know, why do you think we're about to have this conversation? Giving me, I guess, that opportunity to be honest and truthful, to maybe tone it down a little bit. I, of course, did what I always did, where I kind of didn't admit to it. And then he came out and he told me that I had been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
Have an argument?
Yeah. And then, you know, he got just... He had kind of reverted back to the way that he was when we were younger, where, you know, he kind of, you know, pulled me up from the couch, and then he was yelling at me to pack shit up and just get out of the house. That he was the one who had to be the hammer, and that, you know, why am I making him have to go through this, and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, basically I had...
So he's becoming violent.
I mean,
like the way you described
right,
when you were
right.
when you and Cody were kids.
Right.
What did he do?
Like I said, he pulled me up from the couch just by, like, the shirt that I was wearing. And then, you know, after that, he was basically just having that yelling where it was kind of like cracking, you know, like his voice would either crack or he was basically just yelling at that point and monitoring.
Where's
like,
your mom?
My mom was in her office. Packing my stuff, I'm, you know, taking it out to the car. It took me like a couple hours to get as much as I could, just kind of out into there. And then, yeah, it's like mom's kind of just staying out of it to a certain degree because she knows, like, how dad can be. And then, yeah, I mean, you know, and that's just pretty much where I was just kind of like waiting.
So you wait outside. Did anybody call Cody and tell him what's going on?
No, I mean, not that I know of.
Okay. And how did you know to meet Cody down the street?
It's because my mom had actually come and told me that, you know, she was trying to bridge the gap, and then before I actually physically left, I had told my mom that, you know, I'm going to be close, I'm going to be local, I'm just going to be like down the street. And then...
So you left?
So I left.
Okay.
And then...
What time do you think you left about?
Oh, God.
If it's 6:30, the argument started, how long do you think before you left?
I'd say like 9 or 9:30 or so. I think it's because
30 then?
I think it's because like Cody had called the house, and then my mom picked up, and then he was just letting, like, how we would normally do, where, like, yeah, I got off early, so he was supposed to work till like 11 or something like that.
So he came home early?
And then, yeah, he was able to
come home early because of the fight, you think?
I don't know, honestly.
Cody's girlfriend Sloan happened to be with him at work the night before he was found dead, and she advised detectives that she was there when Cody's father called him, advising that something was wrong at home. She didn't hear what the issue was, but when she asked Cody, he simply replied, "Stupid shit," and left in a hurry. She texted him a little while later to check on him, and he replied that everything was okay and that she didn't need to worry, so she went back to work. And that was the last text she ever received from her boyfriend. Before ending the interview, Sloan shared one last thing of interest with the detectives, that Cody had recently expressed fear that Grant, quote, would kill everyone.
Did Cody have the gun affinity you have? He did. He liked guns like you did.
Right, yeah.
Did he keep any guns on him?
I think Cody had his carry, his pistol.
Okay.
And then
What did he normally carry?
It was like a Smith & Wesson M9 shield or armor or core something.
Okay.
And then the only other gun that he had was his clay shooting shotgun.
Okay. Did your dad carry any guns?
My dad, to my knowledge, he has like 2 SKSs or something like that, and then he has a Glock something.
Did he carry the Glock with him normally?
Normally, no.
No? Okay. What else happened?
What else happened? Then after I had met with Cody, then that's where, you know, I was again just kind of staying around that area, and then I just went to the Publix, and then to my knowledge, I mean, that was the last interaction that I had with the 3 members of my family was that.
Was about what time? Last time you saw your mom was what time, approximately?
Last time I saw my mom, I'm just trying to think. Last time that I saw my mom was, God, when did I say that I met Cody? Or when Cody
exact time.
Stopped by? It was like 45 minutes before that.
Okay, so
when Cody called the house, you said your mom told him about the argument.
Right.
When you left, you said you told your mom you were going to be in the area.
Right.
How then does Cody now know where to meet you, or if he's going to meet you?
Yeah, it's because that's when my mom had come out to where I said that I was going to be on that road somewhere. Okay. And then she was able to do that. And then I guess that's how she knew, like, where to, I don't know if she talked to Cody again or if she was able to do that, but then she was able to, like, pinpoint that area.
Okay, so this would have been late at night?
Right.
8, 9, 10 o'clock, somewhere like that time?
Yeah.
So dinner was over. You guys already had dinner?
We hadn't had dinner because of the whole argument that was happening.
Okay.
So yeah, the chicken never got past just being in the wrappers over where she would always defrost it.
So you leave, go on your way, Cody goes home,
right,
and you have no contact with anybody since then.
Right.
I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything before we can close it out. Just a second, Grant. You want to take this? This is a good time right now to take it.
I'm good.
Bathroom break, anything?
No, I feel fine.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just water.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Whether he knows it or not, Grant has provided the detectives with vital background information for a possible motive. The fact that his father ruined the relationship that Grant had worked so hard to build while he was away at rehab. This chain of events would certainly drive anyone crazy, especially someone who was already crazy enough to lie, cheat, and steal for it. Whether he was crazy enough to kill has yet to be determined, but the fact that he's been at the police station for over an hour and has yet to ask why he's there is a solid clue.
I wanted to print out a picture of Fort Christmas because we're not aware. I'm not familiar with the area, so.
So we're going to go back and talk again about this because it's kind of important to me about Cody and you meeting that night.
Right.
So then that night, which was Thursday night, you meet Cody because and did he ever tell you why he left work early?
No. I mean, I just assumed that it was just because he had been allowed to leave early.
Where would you say you met Cody on Fort Christmas?
Yeah, this goes into Picket Downs, right? It's right here. Then this is the circle.
Is this where you live at? Where do you live at?
If this is like the entrance to Picket Downs, yeah, I live like.
Okay, so there's blinking lights right here, so people don't run up into his house. I think that's what there's 2 red lights.
Oh yeah, that's on the dude's fence. Yeah. Then there's those 2 yellow arrow blinking ones at the corner.
So these are blinking lights here. All right. So then where do you and Cody meet?
Like way down this road, further past on that road.
So past, does this dead end anywhere?
I don't think so. I think it literally
goes into Bithlow, I think.
Goes into Bithlow, and then if you keep going it, which was the way that I inevitably took it, where it'll dump you out onto 50, and then I came up 50 to go back to the Publix parking lot.
So here are the blinking lights. How far down do you think you met? Half mile, mile?
I mean, a significant ways. I mean,
just an approximate.
I mean, I would say it was probably over a mile.
Is this somewhere you and him have met before?
We know, where if you're on this road, the intersection where it's like it intersects with another road and then it's got like a guardrail or something like that right there. Mm-hmm. It was still past that area, but it was close to that intersection.
Okay. Yeah. Was it in the roadway, like off the roadway, or in?
Just off the road.
Just off the road.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So you and Cody meet.
Right.
And it's approximately what time? And I know I'm not holding to the exact minute. What time do you think you met?
Like 10:30.
10:30.
Or something like that.
How long did you talk to him for?
Only about 10 minutes or so.
And what was the conversation?
Conversation was basically that he was brought up to speed, and that he would take care of it.
He was brought up to speed by what?
He was brought up to speed on why I'm out here.
Who brought him up to speed?
My mom.
Oh, so she talked to him?
Yeah.
He told you that mom had talked to him?
Right.
Since the argument or when?
Since I had left.
So you left the house approximately when?
I left the house at when did I leave the house?
Dark?
It was dark. It was after 9 p.m., but I just don't remember.
So between 9 and approximately 10:30,
Right.
you leave,
Right.
go down to sit on for Christmas. Cody comes and talks to you about 10 minutes. At some point, your mom has spoken to Cody based on what the conversation you have with him, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And she told him what had happened between you and your dad.
Right.
Okay.
Do you think that's why Cody left work?
I mean,
Did Cody say to you why he left work?
No, he never said why he left work, but in my mind, I was just thinking, he had been let off work early like three times already this week, so I was just like...
10, 15 minutes you talk to Cody.
Right.
What's he driving?
He drives a 97 Honda Accord.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the conversation, and he leaves to go home?
Right.
And you leave to go where?
And then I stay in that general area just so that if anything happens, somebody like knows where I am.
Okay,
like
how long did you stay there?
I stayed there for, like a couple hours, I would say.
Just
That same area where you were talking about?
Like, I would go, like, kind of just up and down that road a little bit, just at my cars and just, like, sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most, I was staying in that general area, and then I decided to go
to Publix?
Publix.
Which was about what time?
Like, between, like, midnight and 1, I think. Yeah.
And you go to Publix midnight 1, and how long did you stay there till?
I stayed there until, like, 7, I think, in the morning. Well, as best as I could, yeah.
Right.
I
Never comfortable sleep in the car.
Yeah,
Where did you park at? Do you know?
It's like on the side of it where, like, there's the back end of Publix where, like, all the shipments and stuff come in, and then you go around that corner, and then there's that line
On the Publix end of it, or the Tractor Farm Supply end of it?
Publix end.
So there's some parking there around that side.
Yeah.
I'm familiar because I used to live that in
Yeah.
that area. There's a side parking.
Right.
As you come up forward, you make the left, you go in front of Publix, the ice cream place is out front.
Right.
But you're on the side of the building.
Right.
Did any deputies or anybody ever come by, or
No.
anybody that worked there?
Nobody.
Any delivery trucks?
I saw delivery trucks, like, in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah.
And 7 o'clock-ish?
Between 7 and 7:30, yeah, I leave.
And go where?
And then I just drive over to where my interview.
And I'm sorry, I'm just not understanding. Where was that at?
Off Levis.
Do you have an E-Pass?
I do.
You do. Okay. So your E-Pass would have probably hit you at the Dean Road, maybe?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a toll, if I'm not mistaken, at Goldenrod, is there?
No, there's
I don't
not.
think there's one.
Yeah.
So you work your way on surface roads all the way down Lee Vista and go. And what was the name of the company again? I'm sorry, I don't think we found it.
It's Accreta.
Accreta?
Yeah.
How do you think it's spelled?
ACCREDA.
72 Lee Vista Boulevard, and it's called Express Scripts there on their name. When I put it said Accredo Express. And you said the interview was from what time to what time? And I'm sorry to repeat.
No. My interview was scheduled for 10 in the morning,
but you got there early.
Right, because I was told that I had to print out, like, my resumes and my other things, but then I wasn't able to the night before.
Mm-hmm.
So I had brought my Surface thinking that I could print it out earlier. So I got there at 9, or like maybe 8:45.
Where'd you print out that?
I actually didn't. I mean, they said that they couldn't, but they already had copies of it, so I didn't have to worry about that.
So you had the interview, and it started approximately what time?
Like 9:40.
9:40, and went till about when?
I think it was about an hour, so like 10:30, 10:40 or so.
They didn't offer you a job, and said they may have something coming forward.
It seemed like promising, but then they said that they had one more person to interview on Tuesday or Wednesday of this coming week, so... But they said that I would hear something from them regardless, like Tuesday or Thursday.
I want to jump back just a second. When you left the house,
right.
What were you wearing?
When I left the house, I was just wearing, like my, like black pants, and then just
jeans, or just like workout pants kind of deal with it?
No, just like workout pants.
Workout pants, okay.
Yeah. And then I just had a black shirt on, and then was I wearing a jacket? And I think just like one of my sweaters or jackets or something.
The interview, let's say you're there till maybe 11 o'clock,
right?
Approximately. Where'd you go from there?
From there, I pretty much just drove around. I was thinking of like passing by the house, but I inevitably decided against it. And then I thought that I had to do like a skills check off for the same exact thing, so then I had switched into just like scrubs.
Okay.
But then that didn't end up needing to be done today. or on the same day. And then I was pretty much just driving around. I ended up going to Waterford, or I had gone back to the Publix area at one point, because I wanted to see if I could get my phone service back. But then I was told that I'm not like a registered user or
Did you go
like
to a phone store somewhere?
Yeah.
Which one?
The Verizon.
Where's that at?
Verizon, which is right there in the same.
What time was that approximately?
I think that was the first place that I went to when I came back. So if I got out of there around 11, maybe like 12 or 12:30 or something like that in the afternoon, I think.
Okay. Couldn't get the phone because why?
Because I was told that I wasn't a registered user. That I went back, and then I think I just sat in my car for a little while because I was just thinking, okay, well, how am I going to do this with everything that just happened? And from there, that's where I think I decided that I was going to maybe drive by the house.
Did you go drive by?
I didn't drive by the house. I was starting to go there down that Fort Christmas road, and then I was just like, I'm not gonna do it, because as far as I know, it's like, you know, Dad's probably at work. I don't know if Cody works again today, and you know, just like with everything that had been happening.
When you drove down there?
Yeah.
See anything strange?
No, I had seen I just seen like a couple of cars like pass by me, but
What do you mean cars?
like just standard, like just a little bit of traffic. But then apart from that, no, I mean nothing.
How close did you get to the house?
I mean like a couple miles.
Oh, gotcha. You leave there, and you go where?
And then after I choose not to do that, then I go back towards the Goldenrod Express Scripts area because I thought that I had to do the skills checkoff thing. So then I'm going back that whole like Goldenrod-y area. Then I stop off and I see if there was like any email updates or anything like that. And then
Check your email?
Yeah.
And nothing?
And then there was nothing. So then I was like, oh crap, it's not like today.
But you've got to pay for things. You've got some money
Right.
in your account.
Right.
You had Cody's card tonight?
Right.
Let me say. Do you still have your dad's card?
Yes.
Okay, you still had that. Okay. Do you use any of them?
I had used Cody's card to pay for one of my bills that was outstanding.
What?
It was just one of those from that site. It was just like a bill that had backed
How much
up
was that?
there. $5.99.99.
Okay.
Cody,
you know you were doing that?
Yeah.
He said it's okay to do that?
He said to use this to like survive until things can get figured out. Because he knows that I only have, you know, a few $100s to my name.
He told you that night that you
Right.
could use his card and pay off what needed to be paid off?
He said to use it for like necessity.
Did he give it to you?
Yes.
He gave it to you, so here, take this and just do whatever. But that was normal for him. He was,
because he had always...
he was footing most of your bills.
Right.
Okay.
According to Cody, the first thing he did the night he left his parents' house was find Wi-Fi so that he could check emails and apparently go right back onto the Camgirl site to pay a bill of $600. Coincidentally, $600 is almost exactly what it costs for an hour with Grant's favorite model.
Oh, yeah. Then after that, that's where I go to Waterford. And then at Waterford...
You stop anywhere over there?
I go into Panera, because I think that I'm going to get something to eat.
About what time?
This was like right before I went to the hotel, so it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe.
Okay.
And then in there, you know, I think about getting something to eat, but then I don't really want to use like the other cards to pay for something, and then I know that I only have a little bit, but then I'm gonna have to like sleep somewhere, and again, I'm trying to use like my money for that type of stuff. So then I'm only in Panera for like 10 minutes or something like that, and then I end up leaving from there, and then that's where I go to the DoubleTree, and then that's where I checked in, and then I was at the DoubleTree all night.
Did you go anywhere? Leave?
I only came out of the DoubleTree to I think get like a water bottle out of my car and to get like to get my my razor out just in case I needed to shave or something like that.
In your room, what's in your room back at that DoubleTree?
At the DoubleTree, it's my leather, like just shoulder bag, and then it has my other small leather shoulder bag, I guess you could call it, but it's like a satchel.
Okay, what's in it? What's in those bags?
In the satchel, it's just got some batteries, some protein bars, just some like ration type food, and then in my big carry, it's got just like some clothes, standard clothes. It had my like all the electronic chargers and what.
Slept there last night? Talked to anybody?
I messaged the girl that I'd been talking to on Twitter.
Yeah. On Twitter, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Did she respond back to you?
I think once, like 1 or 2 responses.
What's your Twitter address? I'm sorry, I'm not a Twitter person.
No, it's just Grant A. Right.
I wake up this morning.
Right.
Nobody else in the room.
Nobody else in the room.
Rented in your name.
Rented in my name.
Okay. You come out and do what? You come out of the room today to go where? Where are you going?
I was gonna go down because I had like 1 more bottle of water in my car, and I had just finished eating like just a little granola bar thing, so I was like, I'm just gonna go down and get my bottle of water.
And you found what when you came outside?
All the police officers, brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, do you know if there was a password on the iPad prior to your dad taking it?
Yeah, but it was just, they were always like 2112.
Okay,
was
so
whatever.
everything was the same.
Yeah.
And then, when you left Cody, what did he say he was going to go do?
Cody said that he will take care of it.
Take care of what?
Just the situation that was at hand with whatever he had been updated with from my mom.
Did he tell you what he was updated?
He had told me the reason why, like, I'd been kicked out. But he really didn't give me that much dialogue, like, about that situation.
Like, what did Cody see you as? Like, were you
like scared?
Upset?
Yeah, I was scared because, I mean, like I said, it's the first time that I had been out of the house, you know.
So you were scared of what? Being on your own?
Right.
Or did your father say or do anything to scare you?
He had threatened me that if I stepped foot back on his property, not the house, but if I stepped foot back on his property, that he would kill me. And, like,
He said those specific words?
Yes.
Did you tell that to Cody? That your father told you that?
No, I didn't.
So you're afraid of him?
Oh, yeah.
You are actually afraid that he could kill you?
Yeah, and it's also because, like, in the past, like 2 weeks before I got kicked out, my dad was going through, like, a lot of episodes where he was losing his temper a lot, yelling a lot, especially when me and Cody weren't at the house. And
who's he yelling at?
My mom.
So was he being violent to your mom?
Yeah, like I think
physically or just emotionally?
Both.
Put his hands on her.
He had bruised her left arm by grabbing it, and then apparently she had said that on one of the nights that they were in the kitchen together, and then he was like throwing food at her and then banged her head against the wall a couple times.
So, and I'm not let me speak bad of your dad, but he's kind of a violent guy.
Yeah, I mean.
You have a reason to be afraid of him.
And then the thing that I was getting to was that apparently my mom was so scared at one point, because it had been a while since he had been like this, that she had taken like a couple or a number of voice memos on her phone whenever he would like come in and then start, like she knew that, you know, something like he was going to start to get upset. And that on multiple occasions, he had told her that he had told her that basically if I up, sorry for the language, but that if I screw up, he's going to kill me and then he's going to kill her.
He said those specific
because
words.
He blames everything that happens negatively with me and with Jason, not with Cody, but with me and Jason on her because we're her favorites.
So you have a reasonable belief in your mind that your dad could hurt you?
Yes.
He could hurt your mom?
Yes.
He could maybe hurt Jason?
Yes.
Quick to lose his temper with you over minuscule stuff?
Minuscule stuff, yeah.
I get the point he's upset about the amount of money. I do get that.
Right.
But physically, he's abusive.
Yes.
And it's kind of embarrassing as you're an adult male right now. He's been abusive of you for years, has he not?
Yeah. I mean, more mentally over the course.
But it has been to the point where you as a 29-year-old male, right, 29?
29.
That you're afraid that your father could kill you.
Yeah.
Without directly stating it, Grant is painting the picture of a violent father and a brother bent on revenge. He's feeding them details that, when paired with the crime scene, would lead one to the conclusion that Cody killed both of their parents, then took his own life in the storage room. But there are several clues that indicate that that couldn't have been the case.
Does Cody have guns in the house?
He does, but they're like locked up somewhere.
Dad have guns in the house?
Again, yeah, but they're locked up somewhere.
And you don't have access to them?
I don't even have a house key. I don't have a house key. I don't have any keys to the doors inside the house. All I had was my car key. That's all that he gave me.
And that night when you argued with your father and he said he grabbed your shirt and pulled you off the couch, did he do anything else to you physically?
No, he didn't like pursue it anymore. He was just.
Did you tell Cody that he acted that way towards you?
No, I didn't.
Cody had no idea that there was a heated, physical, just the argument that you needed to get out because you were talking to this girl.
Right.
We've come and talked to you.
Okay.
You rode up here voluntarily with us to talk to us. Why do you think we're having this conversation?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point because, you know, it's, I mean, I know, like, how the situation was when I left, and, you know, I thought that it was weird to begin with that I hadn't gotten any communication whatsoever. I mean, like I had told you, my brother, Cody, the last time when I was away from the house, that he was the one who outreached to me via email, because, again, I didn't have my phone or anything like that. So, I mean, I thought that it was weird, but I had just been kind of putting it out of my mind, thinking, okay, you had to go to work, or they were busy, or something.
When you were in your room, the hotel room, hanging out, watching TV?
No, I didn't turn on the TV. I had on just like music in the background, just kind of helped me go to sleep.
Are you sure about that? Because the hotel, it's weird, and I didn't know this. I used to travel a lot for work. They can tell, because of the TV, every channel you've been on when the TV gets turned off. Because I guess they have a problem. Yeah, I guess they have a problem with people stealing from that.
Oh, wow.
So those things are well monitored, even though it looks like a cheap generic.
I never even touched the TV remote. I didn't turn on that TV at all. I was just using my service to, like, watch YouTube initially, and then I
you were still using the service to check things.
Right.
So there'll be a history of everywhere you went on it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. As a child, we're told the truth always is the best thing to do. Correct.
Correct.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
And accidents happen, and things in the heat of the moment, things happen that we wish hadn't happened. But I do it myself sometimes. My kids will make me so aggravated, I'll snap at them and then walk away and say, wow, I wish I would not have done that. That was not very adult of me to snap at my child for something. Yes, they're wrong, but I should be the adult and not snap at them.
Right.
Tell me what you think, because I can tell I've done this for a long, long time, and I read people, the way they act, and the way they talk to me, and the way they answer questions. There's something you want to tell us. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your body language, and just the way you act. Now's the time. Now's the time. If there's something you want to get off your chest and give us an explanation of what's bothering you, now is the exact time to do it.
I'm just worried about what is all transpiring from this.
I think at this point right now, to be honest with you, Grant, you know what it is. It's in your eyes. Your eyes is the view to your soul, and it's in your eyes. And it sounds stupid, and people don't believe it. Like I told you out there in the car, did I not tell you? You may not like what I say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth every time, because I can walk in front of anybody in God and say, I don't care, I told him the truth. Now,
is there anything else that happened at the house that you didn't tell us, that you've left out, or we haven't asked you, that would be of importance? Or during the time that you drove around for those few hours, did you ever really go back to the house that you haven't told us about?
Something that happened that caused you to defend yourself.
No, because again, it's like I didn't have any means to defend myself. I mean, I didn't.
Well, we know from talking to that there's weapons in the house.
Right.
We know that to be a fact. Something happened that caused you to defend yourself. Whether you had anything or not, you found something to defend yourself with. I can't tell you everything. I'm not going to tell you everything. But something happened, whether your dad blew up on you, threatened you, physically harmed you, or hurt you. Something happened that caused an altercation.
And I didn't do anything at the house besides get my stuff together and take it out to my car.
You saw nothing that was out of the ordinary?
No.
In the Fort Christmas area or 419 area?
No, I mean...
Did you even get up to the Lake Mills Fort Christmas area where that guy's blinking lights are?
No. When I came back, I didn't come up to there.
There is, and you're a better electronics than I am. I'm gonna go ahead and admit that. There's a digital footprint, and there's ways to see things that we know that don't make sense. Even though your phone may not have service, there's still issues with the phone.
Right.
And it was on you the entire time when you left the house
Yeah.
until you were in touch with law enforcement?
I can track places you've been, and I know where you have been, and I know what time you've been there. And everything you're telling me isn't just copacetic and doesn't add up. Because there's what I think, what you think, what she thinks, and then there's things that are hard facts that you can't manipulate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think something happened at the house based on my knowledge right now, and you're afraid to say it. You're afraid to come back and say that I was a victim, I was hurt, I had something that happened there that I don't want you to tell because it's something maybe embarrassing or not good, but I know a lot more than I can let on right now. And things you're not telling me, I can't help you if you won't let me help you.
So where's the missing piece? What have we missed here?
I mean, when I had come back that other time, I crossed in front of the dude's fence, the red blinking lights ones.
What time was that?
I can't remember.
That was Friday during the day, when you said you were going to come back.
Right, yeah.
Okay. But it was after you did your interview.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you did that, you would have seen something, and there would be something out of the ordinary that you would have seen. If you passed that, you passed something out of the ordinary. What was it?
I saw like a news van, and then I don't think there might have been like a cop car there. There was like traffic being
Human nature. Human nature. What do people do when I go back to my old neighborhoods? And I've lived a couple places in Central Florida in the 23 years I've been here. I see something major going on, I get on my phone or I get on my computer, I wonder what was happening by my neighborhood, and look.
Did that even spark your attention?
There's a digital footprint of where I went on my phone. This right here phone, they can tell me I looked at these maps on my phone because it's on there.
Right.
The memory's there, you can't delete it, you can't. You came back to the neighborhood. You saw some things that are really out of the ordinary.
Right.
And I don't believe for a second that you thought that I'm not going to look what's going on. What happened to my neighborhood?
Under pressure from the detective, Grant slipped up and added that there was a news van in front of his parents' house when he drove past the day after he was kicked out. But he clearly didn't think that through before he blurted it out, because if there truly was a news van, that presents the question of why he didn't stop to find out why reporters were at his home.
I mean, I didn't search it up on anything, on any of the devices that I have.
Did you search it somewhere else?
At,
remember, like I said, I know things that you don't know. And honesty will get you all the things I can do for you. I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
right.
But I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what, believe it or not. That's just me, and she'll tell you. It's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say if I can do something that can help you, I'm going to help you, because every one of us make mistakes and do things we shouldn't have done in the heat of the moment to protect ourselves or to protect somebody else. It happens. I know you've searched for something. I know something. I can't tell you exactly, but you said won't you tell me, and I'll tell you if you're being truthful. What'd you search?
When I had gone to the Panera, I searched for like top stories, Oviedo or Chuliota or something like that.
And found what?
And then I saw that there was, it was like just the initial, like it had like a video, but I didn't listen to the video, but it had just an initial thing of that there was shootings in Salton Circle, but it didn't say like the address or who was involved. It was just like this is the preliminary.
Was that on one of the news stations? What was the site you searched?
I honestly can't remember. I think it was one of the Weshes, but.
And you saw the story, because we've seen the same stories. You've seen the story. Because there's a thing that will tell me how long of the time you spent on that.
Right.
You saw what happened.
Yeah, I was on there for like 20 seconds.
Well,
What was your thoughts when you reviewed this story?
I was freaking out, and I was just like blank. I didn't know what to do.
now's the time. Now is the time,
So what do you think
to be
happened?
honest.
I think that there was something that obviously happened at the house.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened.
We think something else happened before you left the home, that you're either afraid of or embarrassed to talk about. But we need to know exactly what happened, because like Danny said, we can place you there at certain times. And so we need to know what happened before you left that house, because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved? Like what brought us to that home?
No,
You just said it. You know something bad happened there. Out of your voice, not mine. I have not told you anything what's happened there. Something bad happened. You're here with us for a couple hours. You admit that you've looked at a site and seen something bad happen, because the video is not of just a general area. It's of a specific location, correct?
Yeah, I saw like a driveway or something.
Whose driveway did you see?
I don't know. I saw like there was like a gate. There was a gate, and then I saw like that there was like 2 cars, but then I didn't see anything past that.
Okay.
Well, is that driveway and gate your home?
I honestly did not fixate on it for like a long period of time. I saw like the one with an actual like gate.
You've been here with us. You think something bad has happened at your house, and to date, so long, you haven't even asked us about anybody.
Well, that's because for the last time that I was arrested, I mean, like nobody would tell me anything.
Once you start telling me something that's truthful that I know, then we're going to have a conversation of exactly what happened.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any
Well,
emails
I
from
mean,
your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
Well, you need to help yourself by filling in the blanks of what happened that night so we can give you the answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything at all? Did he harm you, hit you,
No.
draw any weapons on you?
No, he didn't do anything like that. I mean, he was just yelling.
This is the time to come to Jesus, to be honest, because you know more. I'm looking in your eyes tell me exactly that you are hurting inside. I get it, brother, I get it, you're hurting.
And this is the
You're
only
scared.
time we can help you.
Because once we get to a certain point, there's nothing I can do. It's in the hands of who has it. You gotta come to me with the truth now, because I already know the truth. I do. Here's the chance. You can shake your head no and say I don't know. You do know, and I know you know. She knows you know.
There's a reason you didn't go back to the house. There's a reason why you haven't tried to reach out. I mean, it's odd you haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's words that like I can't think of to even say. But I'm assuming that, you know, when you see that there is a shooting somewhere and it has to do with my family.
Your family has no known enemies. Nobody has a problem with them. Nobody.
Right.
Continue what you were saying. You said when you
But I mean, that's like I don't. Like I don't know how to even say the words.
Well, give me a roundabout what you're thinking.
That somebody in my family's dead.
And how does that make you feel if you're thinking that?
I have absolutely no ability to comprehend the words, because like I said, I've been there for my whole entire life, and even though there's been struggles and everything like that, there hasn't ever been any issues.
There's never been the struggles or the issues like happened Thursday. Never for you. I believe you 100%. I believe it's never been like that. But something happened Thursday unlike anything you've ever experienced in 29 years of your life. Never.
And maybe you felt that was rock bottom for you. You were getting kicked out of the house. Your father gave you an ultimatum. I mean, that's, you know, you're already dealing with the debt, and, you know, now you have to stop talking to this girl, and now you're being kicked out of the home. I mean, I can understand how you would feel. I mean, that you'd want to lash out, or, you know, if something happened, you'd want to defend yourself.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we need to know what happened.
I mean, I can tell that you guys are like leading me into a certain way of what.
The only thing we're leading you to is wanting to get the truth from you. I can't get it from somebody else. I can't get it from her. I can't get it from other people I work with. It's got to come from you. I already know. I'm telling you, I already know. I got a couple more years, I'll retire. I'm going to take my career with me, be happy with what I've done, because I've been honest with everybody. I'm asking you to be honest with me, too. I want to help you.
I mean, apart from the times maybe being wrong, I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about what transpired during the nighttime.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
well, we got called to the house because Cody didn't show up to work. So law enforcement goes over there, and can you tell us what we found? What do you think we found when law enforcement arrived at your home?
I mean, you guys are talking about guns, and you're talking about other things that and then the website and everything, that something happened to him.
Who's him?
Cody.
Did you do anything to Cody?
No.
Did you do anything to your mother?
No.
Did you do anything to your father?
No.
You have any reason to believe that anybody else would harm them?
No, the only thing that I was told was that Cody would take care of it for me. And that's all that I know.
But you didn't tell Cody what your father said to you, correct?
Correct.
So when Cody made those comments to you, what do you believe he meant by that? Have you guys ever talked about?
That he was gonna, I thought he was just gonna do what he always does, which is where he just talks about it and he figures out whatever strategy he needs to.
So if anything happened in the home...
That's ultimately what Grant would want the detectives to believe, but there are several problems with that theory. The odds that a person would fall in the fetal position after shooting themselves is very low, but more importantly, a person looking to do such a thing typically wouldn't shoot themselves directly in the face. Because 1, that's a very uncomfortable angle to hold a gun, and 2, because unlike head, the face isn't guaranteed to be fatal. But the biggest reason they had to doubt Grant's story was evidence that Cody's phone had been plugged into Grant's computer at 11:42 p.m., a short time after his death, which points to a possible attempt at wiping the device.
So you're telling me you did not shoot Cody,
No.
your father, or your mother?
No. I mean, I don't know, like, what more I can say.
Well, when law enforcement arrived, that's what they found. So you're the only outstanding child. You're the one that's been having problems with your dad. You're the one that we haven't been able to find for 2 days. Do you understand now why we would be questioning you about this?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be saying, like, all, like, I don't know the way to say, I don't know, like, what to even say.
We're trying to see if there's anything else that you've left out during the night from when you first came home and confronted your father, or when he confronted you until the time you left, that you've not told us.
There was nothing, there was nothing to that level of confrontation between him and I.
So if anything happened in the home, you believe it would be Cody and him?
Yes. Because I don't have, access to anything.
Well, I can tell you from what we learn right now, because you know what the news has said, correct? You know what the news has said.
I only know that first story that I saw, and then I didn't look again.
And what did the first story say?
That there was a shooting in the Sultan Circle area, and the investigation is ongoing.
Okay, and what did they say? They say the status of the people inside the house? What did they say? Because all the news have reported the same thing. Every one of them. The sheriff has held a press conference. The sheriff has provided information to the media.
And it's known what has happened in the home.
All that I saw was literally like the paragraph, and then the last sentence was there's an investigation ongoing, and then I didn't.
You saw more, because at Panera, when you said you pulled it up, they had more information then. They had more information than just there's been a shooting. There's a lot more information was given. It was all over the news by that time. The new news reported exactly what had happened. We know that Cody didn't shoot your dad. We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself. There's something. And
you still haven't asked us the condition of them or anything.
That's because I don't know what the normal proceedings are, but The
normal proceedings are for you to be honest about what happened.
And then we help you understand everything that's going on from here on out, of what our responsibilities are.
And we don't believe you're being honest. We feel that you are leaving something out about what happened in that home. And the evidence tells us what happened in the home. But you need to fill in the blanks.
We're here to help you through this, and you're not going to like something here in just a minute, and I know it's going to hurt you, but you're leaving things out. You've got to take that step and cross over and say, okay, I have to tell you. You'd probably rather tell us what happened before Eva opens that up. You probably want to tell us and save yourself some grief by saying, here, let me tell you. Here's what happened that night that I wasn't completely honest about. Because honestly, Grant, I believe you've been honest about a very lot of things. I really do, because I can account for your day. I can account for your night. We have a couple very small holes. 95% of the story I already know. That's why you're here with us.
And again, your cell phone's going to put you in the areas. We're going to check exactly where you were throughout the entire time you started this conversation.
No.
If you went back to the house and did something, or how long you were there, we're going to know.
No, I never did anything like that.
Just things like, look, remember I saw the digital footprint?
Yeah.
E-Pass tells me where you went. We have a thing called LPRs, license plate readers, in different places all over everywhere. And every time your car passes, or any car, I have somebody, one of our intel girls, guys put into thing, hey, as this tag went by there, yep, has it been in a certain place? Yep. It tells me exactly where you went. Man, I'm telling you, I know it's hard to trust the police. I know people don't trust the police. You got to give me the chance to trust me. You have to. I already know. I know what happened. I know. 95% of the story, I know what happened. And so do you. And it's in your face. It's in your emotions. It's in your body language that something is severely, from the minute I met you in the hotel, severely bothering you. And you knew why we were there the minute we came to see you. You knew why we were there. You knew it. And you knew what I was going to tell you at some point during the course of the day, what was going to happen. You already know, because you've checked on it. I know you've checked on it. There's a way to tell. I said the best thing about the internet and electronics, they tell a story. And they tell how many times things have been looked at, what's been looked at, and how long you spent there. Sheriff can tell me every website I've ever been on this iPhone. Every one. And how long I was there for. Every meme I made up to send to somebody something funny as a joke, they can see it. I'm here to help you, man. I'm here to help you get through all this. Here's your brother, the guy who's always looked out for you, correct? Paid for your trip to Japan, paid bills. Your dad and your brother have paid $200,000 of this video chat, whatever, with the virtual, not the virtual, but the girl in Bulgaria. Dad's pissed about the cost. I'm sure I'd be upset too. $200,000 of things. Think of the car you can have for $200,000, or paid off college debt or whatever. Some girl in Bulgaria got basically your college debt. Now I'm sure your brother and dad may have been as happy if you take the $100,000 and paid off that program. But there's a lot of pressure on you. I get it. I need you to step over, man. You're right there. You're right there at the end, ready to go. We're ready to take the information from you and move forward. We're there.
You said when your dad cut off your phone a few days ago, you had no phone number, like no way to call, just pick up the phone and call someone, correct?
Right.
So when you would communicate on Twitter, like you said, either on your cell phone or your Surface, you would have to be connected to Wi-Fi, is that correct?
Right.
When you were in your home, were you connected to Wi-Fi? Talking to these, you know, when you did the Twitter and so on and so forth, were you connected to the Wi-Fi at your home?
Yes.
Both
No, wait. No, I wasn't. I was on the LTE. I was just on the cell service.
And you can still do the Twitter thing on cell service on
Right.
LTE at home?
Right.
Okay. And then when you are at the Publix,
Right.
you're on what?
That's on Wi-Fi.
Publix is Wi-Fi?
Right.
Okay. And then you said the next time was at Panera?
Yes.
Was on the Wi-Fi? Both your cell phone and the Surface?
Just the Surface. I hadn't. At the Panera, it was just on the Surface.
Okay. All right, so again, with the whole digital footprint like Danny's talking about, you know that we will know exactly where you were at every time that you connected to Wi-Fi and how long you were connected to the Wi-Fi. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So when you drive away from the Publix or you're driving away from Panera, we will know all of that.
And every hot spot you hit along the way, it's going to ding. It's going to make that connection, even just for a brief second. And I'm very familiar with that area out there. I used to live out at 419 and 50, and I know just about where every hot spot is along the way. So it's going to say, it's going to be boom, 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 boom.
So what are you not telling us? What happened at that home that you know?
It's on the tip.
Grant, I know you want to tell us.
It's on the tip of your tongue. I know you. It's right there. It's that bad taste you want to get out, to get it off your chest and out of your head. But you got to do it. I can't make you say it. I've seen it.
So what is it you need
over.
to tell us that we're missing?
Step over.
I mean, the only thing that I know is just that. I mean, I left the house later than what I had said.
Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother? Is that how you left your family?
No.
Nobody else went into that house.
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family? If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now to help you. So tell us what happened, Grant. We're here to listen to you.
Grant, you need the truth. We're here to make this right. You got to tell the truth. It's on the tip of your tongue, my man. I get that.
Did your father go after you and you try to protect yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
There's something that's going to come up that is going to make this all come real. I'd rather it come from you than have to do it that way.
The evidence tells us what happened. You have to fill in the blanks.
They can't tell me what happened.
Fact I know. She never held a gun. She didn't have a gun that night. Fact, he never fired a gun. Fact, he never fired a gun. Never did. This is the person right here, Mom, who always stuck up for you. Something happened so bad that caused her death, your dad's death, and Cody. And I'll tell you just about how it happened. 1, 2, 3. Based on evidence. Based on evidence. I know he did not shoot your mom. I know he didn't shoot your dad. I know he didn't shoot himself. And I know from video surveillance camera in the neighborhood, nobody else came to that house. I know. I can account for everybody that went to the house. I know.
So tell us what happened.
I know it. Listen to me. Hey, I know. Video surveillance tells me everything that happened this night. I'm telling you. Of people that you'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video. And I know that there's only 4 people was at this house during this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me. You got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. Get over that hoop. The video, if you're sitting there saying no, and video shows something else, guess what? Big problem. Because it will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on is honesty. Was somebody honest? Of course you're going to be somewhat dishonest at some point. We get that. We understand that. But at some point when you have that come to Jesus time that now I need to really, I got to tell you what happened. This is it. This is it. Video tells me everything I need to know about this from the neighborhood.
And you're the only one left to tell us.
I know it's hard to sit. Look at me, Grant, look at me in my eyes. I know it's tough, man. I do. It's a tough thing to say, but we need to know what caused things at your house that night to become so bad that we're this. He's violent. We know that. He's got a gun on. We get it. Cody just probably went around with a gun because he normally did. He walked in the house and was shot the minute he walked in the house. The minute he walked in. We see trajectory, we find the projectile, we've got everything on that. He's shot over here and is brought over here. See it over there. We find the bullets in the house. Mom's sitting in her thing with a glass of wine, doing her thing, and she's shot. You just got to step over and tell me, man. I want to help you. I do.
The evidence is going to be there.
Most people, I would
We have cartridge cases, we have projectiles.
And fingerprints.
So you just need to tell us what led up to this.
You've been arrested, correct?
Yeah.
So we have your fingerprints, correct? You understand that? Physical evidence is something I can't manipulate. It's either there or it's not there. Didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun. None of them did. None of them did. Cody did not go home.
Or did your father point a gun at you?
No, there's nothing else that I can say.
Then this is not going to end up the way you want to with what you're telling me right now. Factual items do not support what you're saying. Nothing that we can make up, or I think, or she thinks, or whoever thinks. You got to be honest.
I mean, there's just nothing else that I can say.
There's nothing else that happened in that home while you were there that would lead up to this?
No.
Your father didn't point a gun at you?
There was nothing else more than what I had said.
Then who do you think did this?
I don't know. I don't have the answer.
So in a few minutes to collect your thoughts.
Yeah.
Give me 2 minutes. Do you need a drink or anything, Grant?
No.
Okay.
The detectives take another break and Grant immediately engages in face shielding. Covering the face is associated with a variety of emotions, but when paired with his slouched posture and downward gaze, this behavior conveys emotional distress, exhaustion, or shame. He could be trying to put on an act for the officers. Otherwise, the weight of what he's done could finally be setting in as he persists in the behavior long after the detectives return to the room.
You know, the only thing that I have is just the times in which I had left the house. You know, there was still an argument when Cody had gotten home, and then there was nothing that he could do to help me. So I don't remember the exact time when I actually left, but I had left later than what I had said.
So you were home when Cody got home?
Yes.
Tell us about that. What time did he get home, and why did he come home?
I mean, he got home at, I think, like 10:30. I still think that's when he got home, was like at around 10:30. I don't know why he was able to leave early.
And what was going on at the house when he arrived?
My dad and my mom were arguing, and then I was still just packing up all my stuff, or gathering the things that I could gather. And then when Cody got home, he started to transgress with my dad, and I was still kind of just staying out of it and doing my own thing. And then the end result was still the end result, and then I had to still leave.
And then, so is it true that you still met Cody up the block, or was that?
No.
So you didn't meet him up the block? So why did you tell us that?
I don't know.
All right, so then, now let's start from the time you and your father started having the argument, about 6:30 you said when he got home?
Yeah.
Tell us exactly what happened from that time on. Even what was said.
I mean, it was just a lot of yelling. I mean, it was everything. I mean, it was everything that he had been telling me for the past months and months and months about just how I had ruined his retirement and how I had pushed him back, and now, you know, he'd never be able to do the things that he wanted to do because I had saddled him with a lot more expenses. And that I had told him that, you know, once I can get a job, then I have plans to make amends for the things that I had caused for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And he's yelling.
Yeah.
He's heated. Are you yelling back at him?
No, I had never yelled at my dad.
And are you sitting on the couch downstairs, like you said?
I was in the living room, yeah.
And at what point does he put his hands on you?
It's just, I mean, it's like maybe 5 minutes into the conversation. So, I mean, there wasn't really anything that was a trigger that I can think of.
What was your reaction when he grabbed your shirt and pulled you up?
I mean, I had always been passive, so I mean, I didn't fight back or anything like that. I just tried to get my grounding, and then we were just standing, and you know, just continued on.
And then what?
And then after that, I started the whole process of gathering everything.
And where's your mom at this point?
She was still in her office.
Did she intervene at all?
She had gotten up to say that, you know, like, you need to settle down, or you know, some sort of diffusing statement that she always used to make. And then my dad yelled at her to stay out of this, and then she just went back into there.
Okay, and then what? What happened next?
I mean, then it was just like it was just a lot of yelling and confrontation between me and Dad, but it wasn't anything more physical about it. And like I said, I was just going up and about, you know, getting my stuff and taking it out to my car and getting back whatever I could gather.
And what'd your dad do while you were doing that?
He was just following me around.
Just making sure you were gathering your stuff to get out?
My possessions and not taking anything of his.
And how long did that go on before Cody shows up?
I mean, that was like for 4 hours or something like that.
So you did that for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Gathering your stuff?
And dealing with Dad, and because it wasn't just like he wouldn't
pack up those 2 little bags you brought. Was 3 hours?
Yeah, he wouldn't just. I mean, I went onto my computer to back up some stuff onto like some flash drives and I mean all that other stuff, but it wasn't just like with him where I could just go and do my thing. You know, I mean, he would stop me and then we would talk for like an extended period of time, and then I would start to do my thing again, and then it would stop again, and I mean, that's all it was.
Was your father wearing this?
Yeah.
And what about that gun on his waist?
No.
He didn't have that on?
No.
Is this normal?
No. I mean, I hadn't seen him have his gun since like high school.
So he doesn't walk around like this normally?
No.
Why do you think he would be like this?
I don't know if it's because of what he had told me that if I came back that he would kill me.
And like you said, you're afraid of him.
Yeah.
But we're here to this. This is the person that is coming to solve the problems for you, or came home to solve the problems. There's the one who always sticks up for you, including talking to the girl. She talked to the girl in Bulgaria, didn't she?
Yeah.
She had conversations, said that you're not a bad guy, and how this breakup basically has affected you, didn't she? Told him it was bad. Here's the problem: his dad. This one's behind you, supports you. That one's behind you, supports you. This one, I'm sure, cares about you, but is upset because, like you said, you have ruined his plans for retirement, so he can't retire because of the financial loss. How much money did Cody give you? Approximately. 60,000?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Dad gave you how much?
Like 100,000.
Mom gave you how much?
It's like 30,000 or something.
So around 200,000. And the vast majority of this money went to some girl on the internet. So they're upset. I get that. But we know he didn't fire a gun. We know she didn't fire a gun. We know he didn't fire a gun. He shot the second he walks in the house.
At what point does he come into the house?
It's like 10:30.
And where does he enter?
Through the garage.
Where does he park his car?
Under the awning thing.
Outside, not in the garage?
Right.
So do you see him walk in? Or hear him come in?
No.
So you're upstairs maybe, or where are you when he comes home?
When he came home, I was gathering some of the like power bars into my little shoulder satchel thing.
And where are the power bars, in the kitchen, or?
In the kitchen.
So you see him come in?
I hear the door, but then that's it.
And then when do you see him physically?
I see him when he walks into the kitchen.
And what is said?
He asks me what I'm doing, and I basically tell him the quick, short story, because at the time my dad and my mom are talking.
Where were they?
They were in her office.
Okay, and what is the short story you tell
That
Cody?
That Dad caught me still talking to the girl that had caused all the problems, and that he was kicking me out of the house because I had broken his rule.
Did you tell Cody that he threatened to kill you if you came back home?
No, I still didn't tell Cody about that. I had told Cody previously when I went to Cornerstone that that's what Dad was going to do if I had made any more mistakes, not the specific one that I had caused, but if I had made any more mistakes. And then Cody told me that he was going to do that when I went into one of the side offices with him before they officially dropped me off.
when you went to Cornerstone.
Right.
So your dad had told you in the past before that he would kill you?
Right.
For what reason?
For if I basically did anything related to this, again, costing him a lot of money.
And Cody knew about that?
Right. He just didn't know about the one that was just said. Whether or not he knew from like the paper that my dad had written out of all the consequences and everything like that.
After over 3 hours in the interrogation room, it became clear that Grant had no intentions on being honest with the detectives. So they brought in someone who he might be willing to be more honest with, his brother Jason.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you plain out. You are not part of it anyway.
No.
When's the last time you saw everybody?
I left the house between like midnight and like 12:30.
On Thursday night? So Friday morning?
Thursday going into Friday.
Why? That's when you went to a hotel?
No, the first night I stayed just in the Publix parking lot by the Tractor Supply.
Okay.
And
why did you leave though?
it's because Dad had kicked me out Thursday because I was still talking to the woman that had caused everything, and I was using Mom's cell phone to do that with her knowledge, but not Cody or Dad's. So then Dad found out somehow, and that was one of the things that he had said would lead to my being removed from the premises.
So he forced you, he basically told you had to leave?
Yeah.
So who could have done this?
I don't.
So you didn't have any problems or troubles with this woman or the online? You didn't owe them any money?
No,
I mean, there's no like loan shark out looking for you or...
No.
I just don't see how things aren't adding up. I'm really confused, Grant. I don't understand. How did you get money to pay for a hotel?
I still had a few $100s on my debit card, and then Cody gave me his debit card.
Okay. And I don't know. I want to believe you, Grant, but you're the last person that I could put in that house. And I know what happened over the last 6 months. I can understand the troubles that you've gone through, but it's hard for me to think that you would break to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But who else can I blame? How are we going to find out who did this?
I don't know. I don't have the answers.
So what are your intentions? Do you understand what we have to do now? If you're not the person that did it, we have months of stuff that we have to take care of from our dead parents. Months. You know how much stuff is in that house? We have to go through it all. I have to call people in California to let them know that Margaret Amato is not alive anymore. I gotta call at 3 o'clock in the morning because Cody's 30 years old and has perfectly good organs to donate. And I can't call that shot. He's not an organ donor. I had to say no. So that means there's someone out there that could have used his organs, but we weren't prepared for this. I love you more than anything in this world, just like I loved Cody, Grant, and Dad. I know Dad was an asshole. I know Cody was an asshole. But they were our family, and they would have never done anything to hurt us. The you did, you could have been in jail. You would have been in jail for years. And they covered it up for you. I have a feeling the FBI is already involved because no matter how much Dad can overcome the money laundering, that's money that was moved. Just because they gave it to you as a gift, you can't just claim gifts as income. The FBI wants to know what the fuck is money being moved in that amount. I'm sorry, I don't believe you. And I probably will have resentment for the rest of my life, whether you did it or you didn't do it, but I need closure. I need to know what happened to my mother, my father, and my brother Cody. Because I wasn't there to help. And that hurts me. That hurts me a lot, man. I may not have been able to stop you. You probably may have hurt me too. But at least I would have known what happened. And now I'm in who knows what now. I'm lost. And it scares me that you want to leave here and not face what happened. Because you're putting my life at risk then. You're putting Donna's life at risk, Grandma's life. How do we know what you're going to do? What happened on the job interview last Friday?
It all sounded good. It sounded like everything was moving forward. And then I was supposed to hear something on Tuesday or Thursday of this coming week.
And? Nothing?
It was just on Friday.
It was last Friday, so it's been a little over a week.
No, it was just this Friday.
That's not possible. Friday was yesterday.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you had a job interview yesterday, but you got kicked out Thursday night?
Right. I had to get my suit and everything and put it into the car.
So, so they'd be able to verify that you were there for an interview? I don't know. I'm going to feel really bad.
This is just... I understand. I really do. I understand all your thoughts and what you're thinking and everything, and this is just, I know what I did to everybody over the months and everything like that.
I know you did.
And I know that you know the hell of dealing with it every single day when you're trying to move forward.
Yep.
Dad, Cody, and all that stuff.
Yep, and I understand it was probably harder for you because you lived in the house. I had the option of getting out, which gave me the ability to not have to deal with it on a daily basis. I understand the mental struggles you went through with Cody and Dad's relationship, you and Dad's relationship, everybody's relationship in the family. You know how smart everybody is in the family when it comes to medical information. And that's what scares me even more about you. If you didn't do it, then you have to know that someone else did it. There is no way that there were people out there looking for our parents or brother. They had to have been looking for you. There's no way that Mom, Dad, or Cody owed anybody money, had anybody looking for them because of something that they did.
No, I don't think that it's some money shark or monger or somebody like that.
Right, because nothing was stolen from the house.
Right.
So, like, people that are looking to compensate for financial obligations would have taken TVs, computers, jewelry, monetarily things.
Right.
From what I've been advised, that is not the situation. So that leaves that the people were murdered for the reason that they were in the way of getting to something else.
I don't understand why it happened. I was taking my steps forward despite everything that I was supposed to do, that I was supposed to be doing. The slip-up was still communicating with the woman, but...
What were you allowed to take when Dad kicked you out? Obviously your card.
Basically my possessions, my cell phone, my iPad, my Surface, some clothes.
Weapons?
I don't have any weapons.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I'm scared for you and I'm scared for myself, and I don't feel comfortable with you being around me alone. I'm sorry. I could take you physically, but if you have a knife or know where a gun is, and I have little girls that I have to raise. I have a woman that is depending on me for the rest of my life.
I understand.
Even if you did, it's gonna be so hard for me to figure out what to do with you. You do not deserve jail, but I can't come to attorney press charges for you to be killed. Grant, I need you to be honest with me, man. I need to have closure, and if it doesn't come from your mouth and I have to hear it from an attorney or a law enforcement or the news, it's going to be harder for me. It was not fair that Mom, Cody, and Dad's life were taken. They did not deserve it. No matter what feelings were felt by anybody, they were good people.
I know. And they showed it by protecting me all the time.
But Dad kicked you out.
That's because I still broke the rule, and that it was apparently Dad's job to be the hammer person, or whatever he would describe it as.
Right, I was told that you would not have access to be able to contact this woman. Why do you feel the intent to still contact her?
It was just the whole emotional thing. I mean, that's all that I can say.
So are you saying that you love the woman?
I feel like I did, yeah.
Okay, you feel like you did, so you don't feel that way now?
Well, I mean, now it's pretty much, it's not what it used to be, is all I can say.
Because she's aware of what has happened in the last several months.
Right.
So why do you feel the need to still contact her?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, apart from just like that feeling when you care for somebody, you've been with them for however many months.
No, I know that feeling.
So, I mean, I was just, I knew that I...
Looking for closure?
To some degree, yeah, and I knew that I could never do any of the money stuff anymore.
Okay.
So I guess that was like...
It hurt, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't carry that persona that you carried before. But the crazy part is, you're still the same person. You are still Grant Amato that I grew up with for 17 years, that I played with, that we hated Dad so that we didn't get in trouble. Who covered those grenades? Mom.
Right.
I don't feel like we're getting anywhere, and I'm going to be honest, I don't feel comfortable with you staying with me. I mean, if in a week or a couple days or 12 hours and something else is discovered, then I might have a change of heart, but I have no other options in my head of what's going on, especially if you're confirming that there's nobody looking for you. And if you're saying that you ran away or stayed in a hotel because you were forced to, or you were told you couldn't stay there, I don't live there, so I have no proof. The only people that live there are dead, so they can't say anything. They called me this morning, so I have to make decisions for Mom, Cody, and Dad in the next couple days. So just letting you know that I'll be making those decisions, because until I'm given verifiable information that you did not do it, I don't think you have the right to make that decision. You already made the decision on whether or not they can live or not. That's not your job. Alright, I'm ready. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less. I'm gonna pray for you, brother, because I can't pray for Mom, Dad, and Cody anymore.
Please, let me check it out.
You have anything else you need to talk about before we let you go? Because now's your time. You know that. Like Danny said, once you're out of here, there's no coming back from this. We're giving you every opportunity to tell us what happened in that home that you have not told us. So you're aware that when you leave here, you're not going to have any chance to redeem yourself and tell us the truth after the fact.
I understand.
And you're okay with that. You can live with yourself knowing that you're not going to tell us the truth.
I've said what I can say.
Okay.
Grant was released that day but taken back into custody 2 days later at 1 a.m. and booked into the John E. Polk Correctional Facility for 3 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. Inside his hotel room, they found credit and debit cards all belonging to his father and brother. 6 months later, while incarcerated during trial, Grant spoke to a reporter over the telephone about his experience, but remarkably he showed little emotion and made no mention of his slain family. He only talked about himself, how bored he was in jail, and how much he looked forward to getting out when his appeal went through. He did mention his former love Sylvie one time, only to say that the theory that his obsession with her was what pushed him to kill his family was nonsense. Several witnesses, including Jason, testified against him at trial, and on August 12, 2019, Grant was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life in prison without parole.